Weather Authority. We have our team here this morning with everything you need to know. Julie Durda is starting us off on this Wednesday. Hey, Julie.
Hi, Alex. South Florida. Look how beautiful it is out there. What a way to start the day on this Wednesday, hump day. We are seeing crystal clear skies, dry conditions. Temperatures are in the lower 80s. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Key West. Winds are much calmer today. You can see the Atlantic looks like glass, and that's providing for a great day to head to the beach or do some boating. Sorry to tell you that, Monroe County, because I know you're headed back to school. Same with Broward, but Miami-Dade, you can head out there. Make sure you've got the sunblock and the sunglasses. Lots of water. Feels like temperatures already in the 90s and upper 80s. As for showers, I do have some isolated showers starting to develop around the 3 o'clock hour, and much of this activity will be sea breeze driven, so they'll be pushing away from the metro coastal areas. As for our forecast, kids headed to the bus stop right around 8. We'll be at 84 degrees, but it's going to feel like the 90s. So we'll call it another hot, humid day as you're picking the kids up from school. Moms, parents, grandparents, I know I'm with you. We will have these heat indices well into the triple digits this afternoon. We're rain free for now, so let's go to the tropics. We are tracking tropical storm area. The system has winds of 45 miles per hour. The structure is starting to lose itself because it's got a lot of drier air on the back end of the system. It's racing to the west at 20 miles per hour. Forecast projected path does have this system continuing to strengthen to a hurricane as we go into the end of the week, and a major hurricane just north of the northern Leeward Islands and Puerto Rico. But again, this system's never traveled in a straight line, and if we're talking about a Category 3 hurricane this close to the islands, they'll definitely be having some impacts as we go into Sunday and early next week. We'll have a lot more on this coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Julie. South Florida, we're going to take a look at your roads right now. This right here is the Palmetto Expressway, north and southbound lanes. Your southbound lanes looking a little bit more congested because of an accident. Things starting to slow down there. Let's take you over here to your map so you can see what we are looking at. This right here is for my Doral friends. Just before Northwest 25th Street is where we're seeing it. You see that small pocket of orange? This was all in the green earlier, so things really starting to slow down there as you approach Northwest 25th Street. The right lane is blocked, which is causing those delays. I will take you somewhere else where we're seeing some delays. We did have an accident in your express lanes on 95 going northbound just before the Golden Glades interchange. The accident has since cleared, so your express lanes are open now. Your regular lanes are moving, but you still see some congestion, small pocket of red. But the good news is that it's no longer all red. It was all red, but it's still a pretty big piece of congestion. So if you want to avoid it altogether, you can take 441. Let's take you over to some drive times. Broward County, you guys are accident free right now. 595 going eastbound. I-75 to us 16 minutes. University Drive to us 19. Be safe.
Yes, that is going to continue to be the story nationally. Here at home, we're only dealing with the heat and the humidity. We are staying mostly dry as heat indices will be reaching the triple digits as the kids are headed back to school in Broward County. Monroe County, welcome back to school. Our feels like temperatures in a lot of the areas are already in the 90s. The summer-like weather pattern will stay in place. And you know, it is typical for this time of year to see an AM coastal shower and those PM inland storms. This morning, though, we've got crystal clear skies out there. We did have a few showers very early this morning, but since then, things have been very quiet and just beautiful. As we take a look at all of our tower cams, temperatures are in the lower 80s, reflecting all that sunshine. Now, the winds are not nearly as strong this morning. You'll notice that too, especially going throughout the day, which is why our heat indices will be slightly warmer than yesterday. Wind direction out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Dew points mid to upper 70s, off the chart steamy. Feels like temperatures 93 degrees as the kids are headed to the bus stop in Monroe County. Key Largo is 93, Key West 91, Fort Lauderdale muggy 94 degrees in Pompano Beach. As for rain, we're rain free. We'll thank that ridge of high pressure over the Atlantic for that. And then this is what we just heard Alex talk about. Yes, this is the relentless rainfall that continues from this front, sliding very slowly towards the south. As for severe weather, we are expecting a marginal chance of severe weather, just slight chance for parts of the Dakotas and towards parts of Nebraska. Now for us, we're well displaced from all of these systems because of high pressure acting like a roadblock, keeping the jet stream to the north and continuing to draw in our winds off the ocean. So today we will see highs reaching well into the 90s and our feels like temperatures in the triple digits, and that wind direction will help steer the storms well over the inland spots of Broward and Miami-Dade. And then we do it all over again going into your Thursday morning, mostly dry conditions as the kids are headed to the bus stop Miami-Dade, and into the afternoon hours, those sea breeze storms will be in place. Feels like temperatures well into the triple digits. About 103 could be our feels like temperature, even hotter in some inland spots. So Miami-Dade, last day of summer camp or summer, go to the beach. It looks great. Low risk of rip currents for beachgoers, boaters. The bays will be at a light chop for you in the Keys. Smooth for nearshore waters. Here's your 7-day forecast. Not much changes in the next 7 days. We have highs in the 90s with feels like temperatures in the triple digits. Though I'm going to bring back meteorologist Amanda Pappas. We're going to start talking again about the tropics because Tropical Storm Erin is expected to strengthen down the road.
And that's exactly right, Julie. So I've been keeping my eye on this. I know you have been too. So we do see that overall, the main key here is that we are watching, of course, Tropical Storm Erin. It is set to still become our first hurricane of the Atlantic 2025 season and potentially a major hurricane as we head into the next couple of days. You see that in our cone right here as we continue to see it travels more westward. The one thing is that this system has been struggling to get it together, just like most of us on a Monday morning, right? But formation potential we can see is also up in other areas as well. So we have this 10% chance for some formation in the northwestern portion of the Atlantic. Not really worried about that area. And then we also see over towards Central America, the Yucatan Peninsula right here, and for the Gulf, that we have to watch what's called the Central American Gyre. This time of year, it acts almost as like a slingshot. It wraps around this energy, and we see that essentially it's an area of spin and low pressure that essentially can start up tropical systems, and that's what we have to watch for right here in this portion of the Gulf in the next coming days. Only a low end chance, 20%, for us to see a tropical system form in that area, but still got to keep an eye on it. And I'm also keeping an eye on Erin. So it has been really battling some things here, folks. Number one, the dry Saharan dust that's been in place. Number two, all the dry air. You can see it's a lopsided. There are some storms firing off, but it doesn't really have that healthy center of circulation. It's been exposed and essentially naked. No one likes that, right? But we like it because that means that the system has had a hard time forming and strengthening. Here's all this yellow. What is this? It's all the dry air, and that's what's making the system lopsided and continuing to be weak. Now, we do know, though, it's going to gradually overcome that drier air, become a Category 1 hurricane by the end of this week, and then into the weekend, a major hurricane. So some of those impacts could be felt in some of the islands, like the Leeward Islands, Puerto Rico. So a heads up there, but a lot of the computer models are indicating to us that it's going to be turning later on into early next week back out to the north and east, but Bermuda needs to still keep an eye on it, and we could still feel some impacts like rip current risks. But we got to get out there. I know there's major impacts. When I was driving into work this morning, Annaliese, my girl, what is going on? I was sitting there.
Well, the good news is that what you were sitting in has since cleared. That was an accident in Miami-Dade County on 95 going northbound. But right now we are in Broward County seeing this. 95 also going northbound. You can see here that they have the two left lanes blocked in your regular lanes and the right lane blocked right here in your express lanes. This is near Cypress Creek Road. There was clearly an accident. You can see a car here involved and several fire rescue trucks on scene. So definitely give yourself a little extra time if this is part of your commute, and be aware of these emergency personnel working this scene out there. Let's take you to your map so I can show you an area a little further down south, still Broward County, where we're also seeing some very heavy delays. This right here is I-95 going southbound. As you approach Sterling Road, it's really all the way backed up even before Griffin. So let's take you here to see how quickly speeds are moving. 12 miles per hour. That is no fun. You can take 441 to avoid this because things are moving slowly. Miami-Dade County, let's leave you with this. Some drive times. Palmetto Expressway going southbound. 154th Street to the Dolphin will take you 40 minutes. I-75 to the Dolphin will take you 41. Be safe out there. Alex.
We're tracking Tropical Storm Erin's winds at 45 miles per hour, moving west at 20 miles per hour. Again, the system expected to strengthen to a Category 3 hurricane as it makes its approach just north of the northern Leeward Islands and north of Puerto Rico. But again, by the time we watch the system get that close, we may be talking about some indirect impacts for parts of the island. A lot more on all this coming up.
All right, thanks, Julie. South Florida, good morning. I'm Annaliese Garcia with your morning traffic update. Let's take a look here at your roads. This is not looking pretty out here. This is I-95 going northbound at Cypress Creek Road. You can see that you've got some serious situation going on because you have some emergency vehicles responding to a traffic crash, right? So you have several lanes blocked, two left lanes blocked, one lane blocked over here in your express lanes, and things are actually at a standstill right now in your express lanes. But they've been pausing them and then opening them up and letting you go by. But right now they are not moving. So definitely take your regular lanes. To avoid this altogether, you can take 441. Let's take you over here, South Florida, another area we're seeing some delays in Broward County, 95 going southbound after Sterling Road. And you can see here speeds moving as slowly as, that's the wrong side, 12 miles per hour. So put some good music on. Also, you can take 441 here if you want to avoid it altogether, which is likely what I would do. Let's take you over to one more thing I want to show you. Miami-Dade County, across of Dolphin Expressway, you are seeing delays all the way back to Northwest 57th Avenue all the way to I-95. So this is going eastbound. Things are moving real slow. Take the Airport Expressway if you'd like to avoid this. Be safe.
It is 8:15 and it is spectacular out there. No complaints from the weather department. Mother Nature is shining bright like a diamond with that clear skies and dry conditions. Temperatures are warming up with all that sunshine. We're in the mid 80s. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Key West, east-southeast breeze anywhere between 3 to 10 miles per hour, ushering in that warmth and the humidity off the ocean. Wind speeds anywhere between 3 to 10 with winds gusting in the 20s down by the Keys. So Monroe County, you're back in school already, and parents now wondering what you're going to do before you pick them up this afternoon. Drink lots of water. Make sure you have the sunblock and the sunglasses, as our dew points are well into the mid to upper 70s. Our feels like temperatures are in the 90s. Miami-Dade, Broward, and the Keys. Satellite radar composite showing those clear skies and dry conditions, and really high pressure is dominating our area, keeping things very quiet and keeping us in that summer-like pattern. Nationally, we have these strong storms producing more flooding concerns across parts of Tennessee and into the southeast. But really, nationally, besides that, the only other area we're watching is right over the Dakotas and towards Nebraska. For us, in our backyard, it's all about the dry air and the upper levels of the atmosphere that's suppressing that chance of showers and storms in the forecast. And any storms that do develop today will be because of the peak heating of the day and the sea breeze. Once the sea breeze does develop, we'll steer the storms towards the west coast. So the metro coastal areas will stay mostly dry and sunny and hot. Our feels like temperatures, check it out, well into the triple digits. This is a typical summer-like warmth for us. We're not meeting the criteria of a heat advisory. We're going around 103 to 104 degrees. So if you want to head to the beach, do so before you make those plans. Make sure you've got all that preparation, sunblock, sunglasses, extra bottle of water. We have a low risk of occurrence for beachgoers, boaters. The bays will be smooth. To down in the Keys for Monroe County, the bays will be at a light shop. Here's a 7-day forecast. Not much changes each and every day. We will stay warm. We will stay humid. We have our highs in the 90s with our lows in the 80s. Okay, we're going to bring back Amanda Pappas. We're going to talk once again about Tropical Storm Erin.
Yes, we are. We are talking about it, Julie, because Erin is trying to gain strength, but it is struggling to do so at this point. We know that Erin has been fighting dry air, dry Saharan dust, and it also, of course, doesn't have that really warm water quite yet to really get going and get that nice center of circulation with the storm spiraling completely around. Right now, the system actually looks pretty lopsided. We also are watching 2 other areas of interest at this point that we want to keep a close eye on. But one has a 10% chance for development, not too concerned. That's the northwestern portion of the Atlantic, thousands of miles from us here in South Florida. In other portions of the Gulf, we also have to watch right here what's called a Central American gyre. I know that sounds really weird, but essentially think of it almost as like when you're going to play some baseball, you go to the batting cages and you see that the balls come out so quickly, right, from the pitching machines. So that essentially is what you can relate this to. There's an area of low pressure, this spin right here, right? It spins off low pressure systems that eventually can become tropical systems. So it starts off right here in the Yucatan Peninsula, but right in this central portion of the Gulf in the Bahia of Campeche, that's the Bay of Campeche. We know that this area is somewhere we have to watch in the future, but no immediate threat with those 2 other areas of interest. Now, talking about Erin, look, Erin is really struggling altogether. You can see that there's only a couple storms firing off more towards the southwestern portion of this system, and it's basically lopsided. A system does not like to be lopsided, but hey, here's a good piece of news. There's a ton of dry air. The dry air prevents this system from rapidly intensifying or gaining any strength, so that's great. However, the cone showing us our 5 o'clock advisory that this system will finally overcome that dry air as we head into Friday and this weekend and become our first hurricane of the Atlantic 2025 hurricane season. Then after it becomes a Category 1, we could have a major hurricane that could bring impacts to Puerto Rico heading into this weekend. So that's something we got to keep an eye on. But thankfully, all the models are already in pretty good agreement that this system early next week turns right back out into sea. Bermuda needs to watch it, but that's good news for us other than the rip currents. Good morning, Annaliese. How are you, my beautiful girl? How is traffic?
Good morning, Amanda. Let's take a look at your roads. South Florida, right here. We're taking a look at I-95. I-95 going northbound. These are some slow-moving cars out there. This is near Cypress Creek Road. If you'd like to avoid this, you can take Powerline Road instead. Let's take you to your maps. Looking like a rainbow out there as school starts this week. Happy first day back to many of you in Monroe. This right here is starting to look pretty crazy. Let's take you to some areas where we're seeing some heavy congestion. This right here is I-95 going southbound near Sterling Road. That is a lot of red. Let's take a look here. Speed moving as slowly as 10 miles per hour. If you don't mind singing this, put some good music on, maybe a podcast, otherwise you take US 41 to avoid it altogether. Just like what I would do, I do not like to sit in front of traffic moving that slow. Let's take you over to another area where we're seeing across the board Delta Expressway going eastbound. This is between Northwest 57th Avenue and I-95. Things are moving slowly. Speeds here coming up as low as 8 miles per hour. There's no accidents. This is just bumper traffic. Take the Airport Expressway if you'd like to avoid this. Let's see if we can do drive times here in Miami County. This is the Palmetto Expressway going southbound. It'll take 37 to 36 minutes to get you where you need to go.
Annaliese.
Our Weather Authority meteorologist Julie Durda is joining us now. She is here with your forecast. Julie, we saw clear blue skies earlier, but now we're seeing a little cloud out there.
Barely, but that's only because we're heating up. So what happens is the air condenses. Where does it go? It has to go up. And when it rises, it provides for a puffy cloud.
Back to school STEM education right there in South Florida. Let's go.
Yeah, and they're cumulus clouds. They're not producing precipitation. So when we talk about cumulonimbus, those are the ones that look like broccoli and they continue to rise. But yes, this was our sunrise. It was magnificent. Crystal clear skies, dry conditions, and Michaela's correct. Now that we're heating up, that humidity really help bring the activity in the forecast in the way of the cloud cover. The humidity are in winds are anywhere between 3 to 10 miles per hour. So now you are noticing the direction is what's making it feel so warm. Those winds moving in off the ocean, it feels like 97 degrees in Key Largo, 94 in Miami, 93 in Fort Lauderdale. Winds will also be providing for the storms that do develop today as the sea breeze moves in to stay away from the metro coastal areas as we go into the afternoon hours. So metro coastal areas expect to stay mostly dry. Maybe an isolated shower off the breeze. Highs today in the 90s, feels like temperatures well into the triple digits. We break down the forecast hour by hour. 11 o'clock, 88. We're talking low 90s by 2 o'clock with very limited rain chances. And what we're seeing is lots of heat. Feels like temperatures in the triple digits. Again, this is not anything we're not used to, but just another day of heat and humidity. Let's go to the tropics. So we've been talking about this system all morning long, and we will continue. It's Tropical Storm Aaron. The 5M advisory is winds of 45 miles per hour. The next advisory won't be out until 11, and then we'll see if there is a change in the projected path or if it has strengthened. It's going through a lot of drier air right now over the Atlantic as it moves westward at 20 miles per hour. More on
Good morning, South Florida. I'm Annaliese Garcia with a quick traffic update for you. Big time accident causing some serious fire situation here. This is some plumes that you're seeing because a car was just on fire. Several emergency vehicles here on scene. This is the turnpike going southbound at US 27, so Okeechobee Road. You can see several cars involved here, and that smoke is making it hard to see, but there's congestion building up because of it. So let's take you to your map so I can point out to you what we're seeing here. This is where it's happening. Again, this is the turnpike southbound at Okeechobee Road. You do have 3 lanes blocked there. It's your left one. So speeds behind it are coming in as slowly as 5 miles per hour. You saw that plume of smoke. They're working to get it cleaned up for you so you can get moving on your roads. If you'd like to avoid it, take the Palmetto Expressway. Let's take you over to another area where we're seeing some heavy delays. Dolphin Expressway going eastbound between Northwest 7th Avenue and I-95. Things are moving slowly there. Take the Airport Expressway if you want to avoid this. Broward County, you guys also have some heavy delays on 95 going southbound. This is as you approach Griffin Road. Speeds here coming in as slowly as 13 miles per hour. Also, no fun. You can take 441 if you'd like to avoid this. Be safe.
Some major